Okay, welcome everybody to our live interview with my client, Kat, about her inner style transformation that she's been going through since she started coaching with me in the Style Your Life program. I'm Dr. Shelley Nash. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a personal style coach, confidence and mindset as well. And Kat, why don't you say hi and introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi, I'm Kat Cloutier. What I do is I actually started becoming a visual artist like full time August of last year. But prior to that, I was a PGI consultant also and a nurse for 15, 16 years, something like that. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have you on this call today. And if you're watching us, feel free to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. And if you're watching us from Facebook or from LinkedIn, we'd love to know that. And if you have questions along the way for either of us, feel free to put those in the chat as well. So, Kat started with me, I guess, the new year, a goal that she had to work on her style to match her new career as an artist. And so, first of all, I wanted to talk to Kat about where were you at before you started the program? What kinds of things were going on in your life, with your body, with your thoughts, with your thinking process? And we're just going to chat about where you were at.
So where I was at when before I did your coaching or started your coaching, I became a full-time artist. So it took me like 2 years. I did this online course and slowly like transitioning out of nursing. I had gained weight from when I lost it. I lost like a lot of weight and then I gained it back because I was really focusing on my portfolio. And so I didn't go to the gym and I just ate whatever. And then so when I started doing this full time, a lot of our artists, when I went to like our seminar, we talked about branding. And so when I started following several visual artists, I could definitely see like that when with their particular style, they have particular clothing that they wear, or like there's a feel, and that was something like I know I needed to work with because I literally was just wearing sweatpants and like oversized t-shirts when I was, when I started.
Yeah. Yeah. So you wanted to become, to have your outer appearance match your new career as well as how you felt inside, like the expression of who you are as an artist as well.
Right.
Yeah. And did you have any idea how to do that or how you were going to
God, no.
happen?
No, actually I was looking for I was looking for a while for like somebody to help me with what to wear, and I had no idea where to start. So that's how I ended up with, I talked to a couple people, looked at some people online, and then I ended up, I don't even know how I found you or how I reached out to you. So, and then here we are. So yeah, I had no idea where to start first.
Yeah. I think we were I think we either met each other around 2017, 2018, and then probably just through Facebook, connections. So I know that one of the things you did was I have a PDF that anyone can download for free that's called Closet Cleaning Simplified.
Yeah.
And you had downloaded that and you worked on your husband's closet.
I did.
And you found that was easier than kind of your own closet.
Yes. Yeah. Like I wasn't attached to anything that he had, so it was easy for me to organize it. I mean, I haven't thrown away anything of his. It's just like I just organized it the way, like you mentioned in your PDF, and then also like changing the hangers. It just looks completely different. Like he even liked it,
Yeah, that's awesome. And how was it, like, you made the decision to work with me through my Style Your Life program? How was that decision? Was it a difficult decision? I know that it can be difficult to take that leap.
Um, Honestly, yes, it was. Well, it wasn't difficult for me, like, because I had already said yes to myself. Where it was difficult was the finance part of it. Was I had to somehow tell tell my husband about it because it's a big commitment, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't tell him when I actually started the program because I figured, like, I realized like this was for me. But eventually I knew I had to tell him because I didn't want to hide anything from him, especially with something, for something big like that. So yeah, eventually I told him I think I couldn't hide like the the coaching calls anymore. And I just like told him, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's part of like what I'm going after. It's part of the branding, as an artist. I didn't even really think about it, but I am the brand. As an artist, you are the brand. You know, I
Mhm.
I just wanted to paint, but I didn't know what
Yeah.
came with as an artist. That's
Yeah.
I just discovered that along the way when I was researching
Yeah.
other artists. Yeah.
I think that happens to a lot of us when we get, we're entrepreneurial, we get into a new business and we're so passionate about helping people and we're so passionate about doing what we're about to do and what we do in our lives. And we don't really realize that there's this whole marketing side, that
Yeah.
there's this whole other part of the business. And even when I was a chiropractor, I used to say that, it was 25% of it was adjusting the clients and 75% of it was marketing. And so, but with that marketing is that what is that impression that we leave, that first impression that we leave with people, so that people kind of get a sense of you by your outer appearance, by how you're dressed, by how you hold yourself, and so that your credibility, what you've studied and what you do matches how you look on the outside. So the program itself, has this inner style transformation and outer style transformation, because style really comes from the inside out. It comes with knowing who you are, knowing yourself, kind of cleaning up your vibration, cleaning up your energy so that you can express yourself more fully. If you have things from the past holding you back, then you're not going to be able to express the truth of who you are. So you have just been through, or will be finishing up today and this week, the first part of the program, which is the inner style transformation. And I thought this was a perfect time as we were connecting last week and you said to me, what did you say to me?
Oh, I said
Remember?
I said a lot. Like, which part are you?
Well, you said it's working.
Yes, it's
Um,
working for sure. The first time, I don't know if you remember, well, I know you remember when you told us to take a picture of us every day for 7 days.
mhm.
That was, did we start that early last December or first week of January? I can't remember.
I think, yeah, I
Somewhere.
guess December, first part of January. Yeah.
So that's when I realized like I was going through depression. I didn't know that. And
Mhm.
I was going through, my uncle had just passed and it was just, and there were so many people that passed last year. And I think when my uncle passed in November, I just hit a wall and I didn't know what was going on. My husband figured out that I was going through depression like towards the end of the month, but I just thought it was like, the holidays and I'm grieving. And it wasn't until I saw the pictures that we took every single day of how I looked, um, and I realized like, oh my God, like I am in full blown depression. And so I snapped out of it, you know.
Mhm.
And then it was work. I mean, I had to work through it, but I had a conversation with my husband and he told me he didn't know how to reach me, so
Mm.
that was so having to look at myself like every day, well, that going through the pages, that's when it started to work, with the inner transformation. And
Well,
yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation that we can have about depression, but like you snapped out of it. So a lot of people are depressed.
yeah.
Like, how did you snap out of it so quickly?
Um, well, I know like I have, I've done a lot of personal development. But I think it was just to have it in front of me, in front of my face. And then you say, like, how long do I want to keep going like this?
Mhm.
And then I said, not long if I want to keep going with, with what I'm up to. And so that was really when it started. It's like um, I just had to tell myself, like, you got to get out of it. Nobody else can do it, but
Mhm.
you, right?
Yeah. And, you know, through our training with Bob Proctor, we've learned that depression really comes from, a negative polarity cycle that starts with worry,
Yeah,
fear, and doubt,
yeah.
and then, when you change your thinking, you can change that cycle. So that's all I'll say about that
Mhm.
right now. But that was really interesting that you could get yourself to snap out of it. And then we dove into inner style transformation. Well, just tell us how you're feeling now. When you've been through about 3 months of the program, you've done a lot of work, inner work on yourself, and been a very good student of the work. And you said it's working. So how are you feeling now?
So I feel a lot better about myself. There's a lot of things that I started discovering, as like a conditioning, like more cultural. Um, I think I talked to you about, like, coming from like an Asian culture,
Hmm.
and then it doesn't have to be my story. And
Right.
so I feel like, as a where I am now, like, I could be here too. Like, it's okay for me to be where I'm at, and it's okay for me to also shine. It's not just for everybody else there, like, it's not just for the lucky ones. Like, it's not just for like reserved people. So that's how I feel about this transformation.
Hmm.
Um, what else do I say? No, I feel happy about myself, you
Hmm.
know, um, and it's still like, I think it's still kind of uh, progress, like work in progress, because I feel like it's just the conditioning is really strong. But to know that I'm aware of it, so I know I'm getting over that.
Yeah. And in this first part of the coaching program, we're not really working on, your clothing or how you dress, that much, just touching on it a little bit. What have you noticed change about your clothing or how you dress or how you feel about your body?
So I definitely feel like I need to appreciate my body more, like where it's at. So
Mhm.
I'll be 40 in a few weeks, and it doesn't do what it used to do when I was younger.
Mhm.
Um, so, like, just being more appreciative, more gentle, uh,
Mhm.
more kind to like how I look, and the way I dress. It's more like, I know, like, I'm for comfort, but now I'm like challenging, like, okay, it's okay for you to wear this too. You know,
Mhm.
definitely paying more attention to, like, at least getting my hair or my face done or something. Like, like, to at least have that, and I don't have to be fully made or whatever. As long as I have like just those two things, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, I had a thought and it just went out of my head. Well, I was thinking one thing, which was the Oscars were so amazing. I don't know if you watched the Oscars, but recently I just felt like that was so many stories of people kind of rising from the ashes, or being on these long journeys and finally having the success, uh, that they want from other people or outside organizations, but that it's like been an inner journey. And I think that's happens throughout our entire life process. Um, so you have you noticed anything different with your artwork, perhaps?
Yeah, so definitely more trying different things. So even if I'm recently posted, like, I was stuck. I mean, I didn't know how to kind of move on. I wanted to try something different, but I didn't want to say copy another artist. Well, in fact, like, it's just trying different styles, right?
Hmm.
So I'm more open to like trying different things, and just not caring about like my thoughts.
Hmm.
Um, just more open to experimenting for sure. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, what you're thinking about, I mean, it's so important. We don't often realize, these thoughts that are going on in the back of our mind are really what's controlling us, not the ones in the forefront of our mind. And a lot of those thoughts in the back of our mind are conditioned or programmed into us from a long time ago and aren't even true. So that's kind of what we start to uncover. And you kind of alluded to that it doesn't have to be your story anymore. And that's what we're working on right now, is telling a new story about ourselves and our lives and where we want to be and what our future is. So we keep moving along in that direction. So now you're looking forward to the next part of the outer style transformation. What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping for? And where do you want to go with the rest of this?
So what I'm looking forward to is really discovering like a style that would also complement my artwork style, I guess I would say, and be comfortable with it. What else? Make me feel good about it.
Yeah. I know we talked a lot about this even before you started, that, with your artwork is very bold,
Yeah.
so wanting a style that complements that, coordinates with that. So for example, if you're in an art show, you can be next to your paintings, and you're not stealing the show from your paintings, but you're almost a part of your artwork. So I'm so excited to see how your outer style is going to turn out, based on what it is that you do. And that is like true with everybody in every career. It's like when you have your current expertise and your current career that you're in, and you're dressing the part for that career, but you also have your goals and where you want to go. And so how can, you want to continually always be upgrading yourself to that next level of where you're going with your career, where you want to be. I don't want to say that, you don't want to have it. You want to actually bring that into the current moment, into the present moment, into the now. So as much as you can dream, fantasize, imagine yourself, at your next level, then bring little bits of that into your current life as you go. So that's some of the things we're going to be doing. Other things that we're going to be doing, this might help you think about what you want to learn more about. But so we go through color, which is really important in art, as well as, in style, learning what are your natural colors that are good for you, what are your complementary colors that are good for you, what are some accent colors that are good for you. How do you choose color with art? How do you decide what colors to choose with art?
So I do have two favorite colors right now. Usually it's cobalt blue and opus pink, but believe it or not, I feel like the music that I play has influence on how I pick the colors. And also if it's a person or if I'm doing a commission, what I've been doing lately was I would ask them to give me a playlist. So the more music, the better, of their favorite songs. And then from there, like it's almost like I learn something about them, and then it helps pick out their colors.
That's
Um,
fascinating.
and then also with like learning about compliments. So obviously, like there's that element too, like from like just the basics. So just making sure like I have complementary colors with if whatever colors that I pick, then that I have to have compliments for that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a balance.
And there's a system to that, right?
Yeah.
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 So you'll be very familiar with what we talk about in that lesson. We had talked about this before, and I want to just touch on it. I think we'll get on another call to talk about this, but we had talked about how when you started learning to, your trade as an artist, that it was so much personal development.
Yeah.
That as you started, that your artwork changed. It was a reflection of you, and it changed as you grew, and also as you learned more. Do you want to just say a little bit about that?
Yeah, there was actually, when we had to do this, we had to draw ourselves, like our self-portrait. And my instructor from Milan Art Institute, she said this something like, your insecurities are going to show up. you know, so she was drawing her face, and then I was actually drawing my face, and then when I was done, I was like, it doesn't look like me. What happened was I actually made my forehead smaller because
Mhm.
I'm very well, I was very self-conscious about my forehead. And I still am a little bit, you know, because I feel like I have a large forehead. And then my nose, I made my nose smaller.
Mhm.
And that's when it showed up like, wow, like I would actually, you know, I would put it there. And then the first time I practiced on somebody else, I did the same thing. Like I made their
Mhm.
nose smaller. So,
Interesting.
and over time, my personal coach for art, she told me like I'm still constrained, you know, because I
Mhm.
draw specific like the way I draw my painting, like I would create a circle in the painting, and it's like, see, you're in, like you're inside the circle or something. So I didn't
Mhm.
think like I was constrained because like, oh, I've done all these personal development, but then there it is, you know, it's like a subconscious thing, you know, I'm not even paying attention to it. But I'm glad my coach told me about it.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting because we do, like I've taken personal development classes for most of my life, and and yet still sometimes I feel like I'm hiding, or I'm not showing up
Mhm.
fully, and I try to be authentic, but for it to show up in, well, it always shows up in our results, but we don't always see it in results, but to in a physical form of a painting, then you can go, oh yeah, that is me. And, and then to be able to see that transform, I just think it's a great metaphor and analogy for another form of personal development. So,
Right.
and let's see, what else? We go through also talking about body type, and you referenced your body, and being more comfortable where you're at right now. And this is one thing that I have been up and down in my body weight and my feelings about my body, and come to the realization that I think until I love my body today, then it's not going to release the weight. Love and acceptance of your body as it is now is so important. And you were also saying, this thoughts and these words that you say about your body, the conversation in the back of your mind, kind of that love hate relationship that we have with our body.
Mhm.
If you think about it, if our thoughts create our reality, if our thoughts create our outside world, then the thoughts that we're having about our body are creating and recreating the same body over and over again. So if you're having a self criticism about your forehead or your nose or your tummy, then that's going to continue. You're still going to keep creating the same that you have. So when you start recreating the thoughts you have about your body, then maybe your body won't physically change. Although what I find in personal development, and Bob Proctor would say this all the time, people's faces actually change
Yeah.
when they go through transformation. And I think a lot of it has to do with the stress that we hold, like in our musculature. And
Mhm.
once you're let go and you're more relaxed, then more of a different shape can form even in your face. I've noticed that even with myself. So, so how you, and then as far as outer transformation, it's like accepting your body as it is right now. And then what is your body shape? Everybody has a different shape. So what is the best type of clothing to put on your body shape? So we'll be studying that as well.
Yeah.
Anything you're excited about that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like how I could definitely style my, you know, with my particular shape. I'm sure and 5 pounds on me is like, it looks like 15 pounds on someone, you know. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
that's and I love food. So
Yeah.
that's been my issue with weight gain, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just so that I'm comfortable and I feel good about, you know, the clothes I'm in. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. And then we'll be going on to, we talk even about our personality types, 4 main personality types that also tend to wear certain type of clothes, or, even say you wanted to be for you were had at a speaking event and you wanted to be more outgoing than you normally are, how an outgoing or extroverted type personality would dress and how you can take on some of that just for an event or for something in particular. So we look at what is your dominant personality type and how to dress for that personality type, but also how you can kind of flip yourself in between when you're doing something that requires you to have an appearance that's different than your normal personality. One of the things that I always talk about is most women want to feel comfortable in their clothes. You want to feel like yourself, and yet you instinctively know that you want to upgrade where you're at, to leave that good impression. Bob would always say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I really love that because it's so true. Even though we don't think of ourselves as being as judging other people, the first time we see them, we do. It's a cultural habit that we have. And so you want to go out into the world and have people be saying things that you want them, or thinking things about you that you want them to think, and that you can be in control of that.
Right.
And that's some of the things you learn in this outer style transformation, as well as the inner style transformation. Anything else you're looking forward to as far maybe when you're done with this, and anything about your closet or shopping or?
Yeah, definitely shopping smarter. That would, I notice, like, I don't wear like most of the clothes that are in my closet.
Mhm.
Um, so I think I mentioned to you before, like, so like as a nurse, like, it's easy to dress and everybody could most people could guess what your profession is. So in
Mm.
the future, when I say, yeah, this is what I do, I'm an artist, and it's like, oh, you
Mhm.
look like an artist,
Yeah,
that's the one that, my goals anyway.
yeah, yeah. When the first person says that. Yeah. So then, we do go through your closet, we clean it out. We actually start to what's called merchandise your own clothes that you have in your closet, like rework them. How can you wear them differently? How can you put different outfits together from what you already have? So it's not really about buying that many new clothes, but I really want you at the end to really become your own stylist, to be able to, if you go to a store, for some help from a salesperson or from even a stylist, that you can say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need for, my wardrobe, and because they're in the store all the time, they'll know exactly where that is, and it'll save you time. But you'll be in control of how you're putting together your outfits and your wardrobe. You may get ideas, but not necessarily to follow the trends um, of the current moment, because if you got caught up in following trends, then you'll always be following trends.
Yeah.
You want to develop your own style that has its own trends. Maybe even have something that's a signature style that's just you
Mhm.
probably end up having something like that. That happened for me around silver jewelry, and kind of dangly jewelry. I usually wear something about like an inch and a half dangle, and most of the time it's silver, because that I kind of got locked into that with a friend of mine that suggested it. So you might have a ring, you might have a scarf, a necklace, or something that is a statement for you. A lot of people do tattoos. That's extra body adornment,
Yeah.
right now, that becomes kind of a part of who they are. So it's really taking control of your whole life. The way you do your life is a certain style, and to really connect with who you are, what you want, where you're going, and be congruent all the way through that, and showing up, in a way that represents who you are and where you're going. During the first part of the class, we also identify like 3 words, and that are like we actually identified the words of your current style and then where you want to go. I don't know if you remember your words of where you're going.
I remember.
I didn't,
My notebook.
I didn't ask you to bring those, but you can. A lot of time, well, for me, it's like I'm working on edgy and avant-garde, and because I was more classic and comfortable, and not that I still want to be comfortable in my clothes, but I feel like my personality is coming out more, and even I changed my haircut, to be more edgy, like it sticks up straight, and like in the past I would be trying to make it perfect, and now I just like I have the freedom to just let it do whatever it does and stick up straight, and that, as kind of a former perfectionist, has been a really big challenge for me to let my hair, and then even my cutting my hair up and over my ears was a challenge for me as well, because I felt like I didn't have, my ears were too big and I didn't want to show my ears. I had all this negative thoughts about my ears, like you had, with your nose and your forehead. So, but now that I have done it, I feel totally comfortable with it. But it was a really uncomfortable time when I was moving from that transition, because I had grown, even though I'd done for 40 years of personal development. Last year I grew a lot. And sometimes I think what we can do with our outer style is it can represent a change we've made, or when we want to show on the outside that we feel different on the inside. And a lot of people will do this with coloring their hair, or putting a purple streak in their hair, or something about their hair, a tattoo, something like that. But I think we always want to be conscious of representing ourselves on the inside, expressing who we are on the inside, and have that representation on the outside be congruent with who we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And when you mentioned about your ears, I used to always have bangs. I never, like, they always had to cut, because they always had to cover. It wasn't until a few years ago where I'm like, whatever, you screw what everybody else say, or what they said about my forehead. And so, like, now I don't, they're long. So yeah, it's like more of like, this is who I am, accepting that part, and that's
Yeah.
You get over it eventually.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for being on with me today to just talk about your transformation so far. I know you'd said like that you felt like you needed to be in a better place to come on today. Do you still feel that way, or you better?
No, I mean, what's there for me is like, I am where I am, like this is where I'm at right now. And it's just like you said, until you accept, or love yourself the way you are currently, nothing's going to change, So I needed to have a breakthrough in that, not to say like, you're not good enough for this or whatever. You are, like, I'm on my way, so this is good.
Yeah, I was walking the other day, and I I think I came up with this affirmation that's so simple, and it's like, I'm doing good. Like, I'm doing really good, and it was just so simple and affirming to me that, like, oftentimes we just think that we're not enough, or we're not there yet, or, we're always kind of in this battle with kind of where we want to go and where we want to be in the future. It's like, I'm doing good right now. Everything is going well right now for me, and you can have that simple affirmation that I'm doing really good, that it just kind of brings you into the present moment. So you can figure out an affirmation for yourself that really clicks for you, that's easy to remember, that when you get off track, when you start feeling less than, or feeling like you're not there yet, it's like, I'm doing good. I'm doing everything I need to do. And then you can just kind of bring yourself into the present moment. All right, so we've had several people watching today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching the replay, definitely put replay in the chat. If you want to have the Closet Cleaning Simplified article to clean out your closet for spring, put that in the chat and I will send that along to you. Also, just a reminder, a week from today, I'm doing a 2-day masterclass entitled Style from Within. And that is really about developing a style that you feel good about you and that you can take yourself to the next level. So if you that there's a link for that in my Facebook. And if you need to have a link for that to sign up for it, just let me know in the chat and I'll send that along to you, or I'll probably put it in there after this recording is over. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.